Welcome back to Trauma Pero No Drama with KSV, un podcast about three manas, Karina, Susie, that's me, and Vanessa. Join us as we talk about trauma, drama, sacamos las garras al sol. Join us, it'll be good. Hey guys, welcome back to another Monday, another episode. Happy post-Valentine's Day. Hope everybody enjoyed their
chocolates. Flowers. Cards.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna jump right in. My God. Oh my gosh.
I'm just talking about what people get on Valentine's Day.
And it was on a Saturday, y'all. I hope y'all took advantage of that. Anyway, back to today's episode. We are going to talk about what are we talking about?
Parenting.
Oh yeah, parenting. How we discipline?
Yeah.
How we discipline and reinforcements?
Yeah.
Positive parenting?
Yeah. Like the soft parenting versus the beat your ass.
Yeah, parenting. Yeah, because if you guys listen to last week's episode, which might have been, here and there and everywhere, towards the end of the episode, we kind of got into how we used to get beat.
Oh, sad face.
And Vanessa was going to say something, but she forgot what she was going to say. So we're going to just jump right in. So where do you feel like you fall on that spectrum of how you parent your girls?
So I wanted to...
But wait, I want to hear how you parented them when they were little versus how you parent them now that they're older and they can, knock you out now because, they're a little older. And
she might be small.
Their ass.
Right. She might be small in height, but I don't think she will let herself get hit.
I know. Relax.
They will never disrespect me.
What if they want to square up,
I'll punch them into 20 years ago. Newborn. No, but I want to say, as stupid as this may sound, want to give a big shout out to the nanny. That British lady that used to go to the houses of the super misbehaved kids, and she helped basically teach the parents how to what do you call it?
Discipline.
Yeah,
that show was wild.
So yeah, so between knowing how we were raised and watching that show, I think I looked for my medium. Mm-hmm. And when the girls were little, one of the most important things for me, and we kind of mentioned it on last episode, is remember getting your ass beat and you had no idea what you did. Mm-hmm. You had no idea what you did wrong. You tried to wrap your head around it and you didn't know. Even when you do something wrong as a kid, you have to understand what you did wrong. Mm-hmm. So that was super important to me. And I learned that honestly from that show. Mm-hmm. Is when you go to your kid and when they get in trouble, I expect them to tell me what they did wrong and what they're going to do different next time. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of learned from that. And when Vanessa talks about how she blocked out a lot of things in her childhood because of trauma, I hope that I didn't do that for my kids, because that was important for me, for them not to be able to say, because we also talk about what's the last time you remember getting beat, and you said 5th grade, that's old.
Yeah.
And that's probably the last time I remember, because when they came to school, we talked about, and they asked about when they were talking about abuse and all that, mm-hmm. that was 5th or 6th grade. And I'm hey, I just got my ass beat yesterday, kind of thing. So mm-hmm. I know that up until that age, we were still getting whatever, disciplined, we'll call it. And I asked the girls, I'm do you remember me hitting you? And they don't remember.
That's
and
a good thing.
I did spank. Mm-hmm. If they were being stupid and I asked you to stop, and then you specifically knew what you were doing wrong and you kept doing it anyway, yo sí les daba su nalgada here and there. Mm-hmm. But they said that they don't remember me ever hitting them. So I hope that that's a good thing, that I only used it when it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And not that they...
it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your go-to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because yo siento que para nosotras, when we were growing up, that was my mom's go-to. Just straight into the point.
Just straighten them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that for me, it was a lot of like timeouts, taking things away that they wanted to do, separating them. I did learn that from my mom, is separating the girls, because they used to fight, a lot. And then I remember our punishment was that we weren't allowed to play together. Like that was one of the things that my mom did, is like, you have to sit over there, you have to sit over there, you have to sit over there, after she beat our ass, obviously. But it was like, you're not allowed to talk to each other, you're not allowed to play with each other. And like that really hurt, because
that kids.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
yeah, she used to do that. And that I did do with the girls. And that did help a little bit.
Well, I didn't get to play with anybody.
Why?
She was too small. Nobody wanted to hang out with her.
Oh.
I didn't have anybody to play with.
You had your brother. Yeah, you're right. You guys fought more than you played.
Right. The one que también tenía dos abusadores, mi mamá and him. Because si mi mamá no me pegaba, it was him.
He was very aggressive. I agree.
A little.
I didn't say a little. I said very.
Oh, he is still very.
So that's not what
We're not talking about the present. Relax.
Oh.
We're talking about the wrong thing. So how do you discipline the kids, since you're real time right now in that age? Do you do that? Do you make sure that they know what they did wrong?
Vanessa beats their ass.
Do they do? Because okay, but I'm gonna judge Vanessa really quick. The other day,
What other day?
when Junior was being mean to Minna, he did
What?
something, and he was like,
The
"Why?"
other day when she went to your house
Like
and you
all the
didn't
time.
invite me to your house, but Karina was there. And then when I called you, you were like, let me call you back really quick. And then you never called me back because Mana was there. Anyway, move on.
Supéralo, mana.
I can't.
She was
It's
helping me with
okay.
something.
I can't.
Why did you call me?
Because I needed help to get tickets, airplane tickets.
Okay.
Because I'm too stupid and I don't know
But
how.
you told us before this recording started that she was your first choice, but you didn't want to bug her. So then you called me. So you didn't call me because I'm smart and I could help you. You called me because you felt bad to bother Mana Susi over here.
No, Mana, pero she called me so I could help her over the phone. She called you for you to go to her house. She invited you to her house, and I didn't get that invite. I was hoping to get
She
dinner
didn't
out of
invite
it.
me.
Oh,
I invited
I
myself.
invited myself to
because
her
I
house.
I knew what a struggle it was going to be to try and walk her through it over the phone.
tu cara.
That wasn't an insult. I'm just saying it's hard to explain like what to look at, where to go over the phone.
It was very hard because we were all over the place.
Okay, I forgive you guys. Really back in. Back to what you were saying, Mana, when the other day when you were at her house and Junior was being mean.
It wasn't even that time. It was a time before that we went to go have pizza with them. But that day...
It was
But
on
that day
Junior's
you were
birthday.
invited and you didn't want to go, or you couldn't go.
She had
or-
plans.
I had Josie's winter sing. Okay, proceed.
Yeah, see, forgiven. Okay. Anyways, so you're like, apologize to your sister or something. I think it was Axel actually, when they were fighting over the Buzz Lightyear. And you were like, apologize. And then he like didn't want to apologize. And you're like, say sorry. You were getting really mad. But did he even know what he did wrong?
Yeah, he did.
How do you know?
He took the Buzz Lightyear away from him.
But how do you know that he knew?
We saw.
I know we saw, but did he understand?
Did Axel or Junior understand?
Who was it?
Axel.
Junior or Axel?
It was Axel.
Was it Axel?
Yeah, because he was being a little brat because he wanted the toy.
He's always being a brat. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he wanted the toy for himself. And you're like, no, that's your brother's. It was his birthday gift. And then he was starting to throw a tantrum about it. I'm just saying, like, do you make him tell you like what he's apologizing for?
Vanessa, that's not the point.
Give him a freaking pen and a paper and make him draw it out.
Well, Axel ya empieza a hablar un poco más. So sí, antes no, like no me lo regañaba, pero ever since you guys yelled at me and hurt my feelings, I started doing that now. I started explaining. Well, I said no, pero a Mena y Junior cuando los estoy regañando and like I'm very mad and they made me mad y ya les hizo una nalgada because they're being too bad and they were doing things that they weren't supposed to. Sí voy y hablo con Mena and le digo, do you know why I did that? And she says yes. And then she starts explaining what she did. Y también Junior ya sabe también un poco to explain his expressions or how he
To
feels.
express himself?
Yeah. So ya me dice que sí, porque he was being mean to Mena or because he did this and that. Pero Axel, no, mana. Like, I'm starting to do that with Axel because I don't know. I don't remember if I told you or you, Mana, that Axel did something and then like took it away. I think it was because he was fighting for the tablet and he was eating, I think. And Fidel me dijo que se lo quitara para que comiera. And luego se lo quité and I told him like, primero come y ahorita te lo doy. And Axel me pegó. Like me aventó un chingadazo. Y sí me pegó and I was like, and I was gonna let it pass, mana. Se lo iba a pasar. Pero luego me puse a pensar, like, no, porque si si lo dejo pasar, like, va a agarrar la costumbre de que me puede pegar. So I grabbed his hand y le di un manazo. And I was like, no, a mamá no se le pega. Y pues empezó su drama, chillar y me empezó a aventar todo y todo. Y luego ya me lo llevé al cuarto.
Y te lo chingaste.
¿Eh?
Te lo chingaste.
Bueno, le di su nalgada y le dije que a mamá no se le pegaba y que no tenía que estar aventando las cosas. Y lo dejé en el cuarto y se agarró. No le pegué así como cejaradamente. Nomás le di un nalgazo y un manazo así. And I told him, no, like, you can't hit mommy, or you can't be doing that. Y se agarró chille. Y lo dejé en el cuarto. And I did feel bad because, Axel is my baby. Pero no puedo dejar que me esté levantando la mano. Right. Y luego ya cuando le dije que cuando se calmara saliera del cuarto y luego salió como al minuto, pero ya salió calmado. Like, he wasn't crying anymore. So I kind of think that he did recognize that he was being bad. But I don't know, because como todavía está chiquito y no habla.
Yeah.
Bueno, sí habla, pero no habla así fluid.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So it's a little harder because he can't speak to tell you whether or not he understands.
Yeah. So it's harder with Axel, but I think it's more with Mena y Junior que cuando los regaño. Porque yo, como crecimos de que nos pegaban tanto, mana, yo no soy la de que quiero pegarles. Like, prefiero yo de regañarlos que pegarles. Pero dice Fidel que I'm in the wrong.
Like, you're too soft?
No, he says que los estoy tramando yo cuando los estoy regañando.
Es que depende de cómo los regañas. See, like, your go-to de regañar, I'm not, like, critiquing your parenting, is like, but it's, like, strictly to, like, yell at them, like, 0 to 100, like, yell at them.
Like, getting psycho?
And there's, like, there's, like, no, like, before, because I know, like, there's levels, right, but if you're going straight to, like extreme yelling, well, I can understand why Fidel would say that.
Well, it's not like that. I know I'm a psycho bitch, pero no. Okay, hay que decir que hacen algo, right? Y yo les digo, like, no estén haciendo, cálmense. Y luego ahí va la segunda. And I'm like, okay, you guys are making me mad. You guys need to fucking stop. Y luego ya el último, like, when, like, they don't listen and ya estoy, like, really frustrated because, puedo decir que estoy casada, pero I'm raising my kids pretty much on my own. Pretty much. And like, ya cuando yo estoy bien enojada, like, exploto y los regaño, like, sí los regaño, pero no es como que yo me pongo como maniática que azoto y like, les pego. Like, no, I don't see myself like that. No, pero sí los regaño. Y luego Fidel dice que nomás los estoy tramando, pero yo no los estoy he says que les dé su nalgada y que les pegue, but I don't want to do that because we grew up getting hit. So that's like, I don't want to raise my kids getting hit. I don't want to raise my kids like chingándomelos cuando se los merece y hacen like something that very bad. Entonces sí, una nalgada, un manazo. Pero a mí no me gusta discipline them like that. How our parents did to us. Like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna ever see me con un pinche gancho, con el cable del respirador. You're never gonna see me do that to my kids because we grew up with that and I don't want that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm like in the middle because Fidel dice que les des una nalgada. Cuando se los merece, sí. Pero que hay que decir que hacen algo chiquito, quiere que los nalgue. And if it's not like big, I'd rather like regañarlos o llamarles la atención. Like, don't do that. Or like, why did you do that?
And that's what I mean by like, there's no book for parenting. Everybody parents a different way. Their style's a little bit different. The things that you feel deserve a certain level of punishment for somebody else may be a completely different level. You know what I mean? Like if one of the girls hit me, yeah, your butt's gonna get one because don't touch me.
Bless you.
But
Thank you.
to your point, yeah, bless you. To your point, if it's something small and you can just speak to them about it, then speak to them about it. But also, to be completely honest, I feel like I was a yeller because my mom was a yeller.
Me too.
So that's a
My
big
mom,
no.
yeah, like I just feel like, unfortunately, that came from what we saw because that's all we saw.
That was our normal.
Right, but my mom was like
But-
yell and hit.
Right.
But they're
Right.
both
So
like,
we're changing the hit part,
mhm.
but that we like she yelled and I felt like I yelled. And then eventually it just becomes like, oh, here she is yelling at us again. Like I don't think it's trauma because it's like that all the time. I think it's more trauma if there's physical that comes with it, which I was the same as you. Like I never wanted to hit him unless it was absolutely necessary. I didn't. But I was a yeller and I don't think that that's changed even now. Like I'll still yell at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that came because that's from what I saw.
Yeah, same.
So even though I don't want to, sorry, Mana.
No, it's okay.
So even though I say that I don't want to be my mom, I'm actually turning into her one because I'm over here yelling.
Yeah.
Not yelling like psychically, pero los estoy regañando. No, I have to change. I don't want to be like my mom. I've already said like at the beginning, like a lot. I tell you guys a lot. I don't want to be my mom. I don't want my kids to look back and be like, oh, I hate you because tú me regañabas por esto.
But again, it's in your style and what you do and how you do it, right? Again, when you're telling them something, they should know what they're doing wrong. And you need to make sure that they're able to communicate to you, like, do you understand what the problem is? Versus where before we just...
we didn't even know half the
We didn't
time.
even need to do anything. And we were getting yelled at. And I'm like, I was just sitting here.
Yeah. You like mi mamá literalmente, like if we were just sitting and doing nothing, we would get yelled at for sitting and doing nothing and not doing something.
Yeah. And if we were running around, jumping around, making noise, we were getting yelled at for running around and making noise.
Right, but that's what kids do.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, that's the difference, right? Like, I remember us being kids and playing around and, like, just play fighting or whatever. We were getting hit and we were getting yelled at for it. Where, like, with my girls, like, if they were running around, screaming, whatever, I didn't care. Somebody else in the house would get mad about it. And then I would get mad that they were getting mad because I'm like, they're kids. Let them be.
Yeah, I'm living that right now.
You have to let them be. But that's the difference. That's where you're breaking that generational stuff. I said in a couple episodes ago, like, I used to get so pissed because why did you have so many kids when you know that a full house of kids equals a full house of noise? And it's like we couldn't even, sometimes I felt like we couldn't even play loudly without getting yelled at.
And you know what else? It makes me annoyed. Okay, así como tú, like, los chiquillos están jugando, right? And they're being kids and they're going to be playing and they're going to be screaming and fighting and everything. Like, yo como tú, like, I don't even care. Like, I let them do whatever. Pero ya cuando se están chongando, like, sí los regaño y los separo. Pero, like, the thing is que también don señor aquel like, gets mad y los regaña, les dice que se sienten. And then, like, I get mad and I'm like, well, they're being kids.
Yeah.
Or, like, when we're eating and, like, we're, like, they're talking, like, he gets mad that they're talking. Like, they're being kids. They're telling us their stories. Like, Mena y Junior nos dicen, like, ¿qué hicieron en la escuela? And grumpy ass gets mad about them talking while we're eating in the table. And I get mad and I'm like, well, they're being kids. Let them talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things, too, that I always fought back on. Like, when they were sitting at the table and they're, like, giggling and laughing and all that stuff, like, that brought me joy.
Because
But then somebody is like, yeah.
growing up.
But then somebody else in the house is like, can you guys be quiet? And I'm like, why? Why do they need to be quiet? They're just enjoying each other's company. And when they fight as much as they do as siblings, like, I truly enjoyed those moments. But also that also, again, makes you stand out as a parent. And those are the things that they're going to remember, that you weren't bothered by stuff like that you let them play, that you let them live their childhood. They're not going to remember you smacking them because they were talking while you guys were eating at the dinner table. You know what I mean? So for you, like, how did you do it? Because you didn't have two kids that were constantly bickering and fighting and yelling. So did it look different for you?
It definitely did look different for me. Yo sé que regañaba a Jocelyn, but it wasn't like she was a very mischievous kid. So she was, which is fine. You know, kids are going to be kids, and as they're growing older, they're going to want to explore and all that. And in some way, as they get older, they're going to test their limits, right? But for me, I'm the same as you guys, where I always wanted to make sure that when she was in trouble, she knew why. And my form of punishment was like timeout. I was a timeout mom all the way, to the point donde Jocelyn, when I would be like, Jocelyn, she'd be like, I know, timeout. and some people may be like, oh, that's so sad. But like, if you grew up the way that we grew up, and her was, I know, timeout, was then I'm succeeding.
Yeah.
I'm breaking all kinds of generational things, right? Y a veces me daba risa, and I would be like, no, you don't have to go to timeout. And then as she got older and she started to go to school, I would make sure, like, cuando hacía algo, I would tell her to write me a letter and tell me why she was in trouble. And that was the way that and when she would give me her letter and I could make out what she was trying to write, right? Because a lot of she was in kindergarten sounding things out. Yo sabía that she understood why she was in trouble. But I wouldn't just make her write me a letter and then, okay, whatever. I would talk to her. Pero también siento que para mí fue, I think you touched on it a couple episodes ago, where you said that your partner kind of, you parented together. And that was me with Ivan, where sometimes I wanted to be like I don't know, because I always wanted to raise Jocelyn to be very well educated. Like, I wanted her to have manners. I wanted her to be polite. I wanted her to respect her elders. So I always felt like I was a little more strict. Not when we were at home. When we were at home, she was allowed to be a kid. And even like now, cuando vienen sus amiguitas, because Jocelyn always has, because she's an only child, I always let her have her cousins come over, or her friends will come over. And if they're running around and playing, like, me and Ivan, like, she'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll be like, no, like, don't ever apologize for that. Or she'll be like, if it's late and they want to play like the Nintendo, she'll be like, we want to play, but we'll put the volume down. And we're like, no, girl, turn that shit up and play it as loud as you want. Like, that noise doesn't bother me and your dad. Like, we'll just go to the room and hang out in there. Like, there's headphones. Like, don't worry about, the noise. Again, because it goes back to, like, we weren't allowed to have people come over ever. We weren't allowed to make noise. If we had people come over, we literally had to sit in a little corner and stare at each other. So I always, like, made sure que Jocelyn felt free to be a kid. But it was definitely hard to find that balance of parenting. I'm not going to lie. Sí, también le daba sus nalgadas when she was, like, out of throwing fits and, whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, it was just either, like, así como Vani. Like, I would be like, please stop it. And if she would keep going, Jocelyn, please stop. And if she kept going, well, then you kind of, like, snap and you're like, I've told you 3 times to knock it off. And then I would put her in the corner for time out. But listening to you guys, it sounds like it's very different than me, because, again, you would separate them, and who am I going to separate Jocelyn from?
Right. Echo.
Not even, because we haven't had Echo that long.
Oh, yeah, you didn't have Echo then.
So,
that's
like,
right.
it really was, like, timeout. And again, and I also, from that nanny show, because I also watched that, as she got older, the timeout limit increased to however old she was. That's how I always based her timeouts.
I remember that.
Yeah, if she was 1, she set it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was the way I chose to discipline her, was timeout. And some people may say, like, oh, what's timeout going to do? But it really, I recommend trying it, because it gives the kids that time to
reflect.
to calm down and like let their emotions out, and then it gives you guys like a mutual time to like come back and have that conversation of, do you know why you're here? Do you know what caused it? And I mean, I feel like that timeout is also a timeout for like, was a timeout for me as a mom. Like, okay, recollect. Like, I know I'm mad. I know I'm frustrated. I'm flustered. You know, I'm juggling, cooking, cleaning, taking care of her. Like, pull it together and then have that conversation.
Yeah,
so
let me not flip out on her for no reason.
Yeah. So you don't go into it like at 1,000 miles per hour yelling at her and not being able to control your emotions.
Yeah, especially if you have a child that's like throwing tantrums and like half the time they don't even know why they're throwing their tantrums.
Yeah.
Like that show, like it, like that's why I said, as stupid as it sounds, it really did teach me a lot. Like once they do something that they're not supposed to be doing, you like, you're gonna have a designated spot, and then you tell them you're in timeout because this and this. You're gonna stay there, and you need to think about it, and you need to apologize. And then it gets to a point where like they tell you when they're ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to say, what did you do wrong? Like, they know that they got to tell you what they did wrong. So it did work for me.
It worked for me too.
Well,
I think I'm going to start doing that. Because I know cuando le digo a Mena, like, go to your room, ella ya sabe que ya fue cuando ya la regañé, and I'm like, go to your room. Y luego ya cuando se le pasa el coraje, and like, ya se calma, like, ya me viene, y ella sí me viene a decir, like, can we talk? Y luego ya nos sentamos y platicamos, y luego ya, like, se pone contenta, and we're like
besties.
This. Yeah, besties. Junior's still working on it. I'm still working with Junior, and I'm still working with Axe. Pero the thing is that you guys have apoyo with your partners. You guys have apoyo to like raise. You guys had apoyo to raise the girls, but I don't really have that. I'm pretty much raising my kids on my own. Because when I asked for help from their dad, he's like, "Oh, I work all day."
You feel like you're a one-man island?
Yeah, he always tells me, well, I work all day. You're home. You need to figure it out.
but marriages work when you have the conversation, and you need to be able to explain like how that's affecting you, and he needs to get his shit on that boat.
I've always like yo siempre le digo, and like he's always tells me like, oh well, I'm the one who works. Your responsibility are the kids, and it does frustrate. Because cuando like I'm like exploding, and I'm like, I need your help. Like help me like fix this, or like help me with Junior, or like Mena, or no, not Mena. I'm like more Junior and Axe are like acting up, because obviously he's a boy, so he knows more about boy things and why like they get mad and stuff. What me dice, you figure it out, because I'm the one who works.
Well, let me give you a piece of advice, because that I feel like I went through that, and it's gonna sound a little shitty, I think, but you gotta let that shit go. If they don't want to help you, if they don't want to be part of that process, you're not gonna force them. Your kids need to know what relationship they have with you, and that's what you need to focus on. You should have side conversations, obviously away from the kids, just you two, and say, this is where I need your support. And if we're going to be in this forever, and these kids are going to be ours forever, you need to be able to help me. And this is where I need help. And that's but you have to look at that completely separate from you and your kids. Like, you have to do you with those babies, because they have to be able to look at you and say that you were able to do it all. Be their friend and be their parent.
Yeah, but also find that like border to where you stay the parent. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're not alone in that aspect. And I'm not saying that I feel alone, because I'm not. And me and Ivan are very good at parenting. But there have been a few times where, you know, I feel alone because like we see differently in situations. Like we see views. Yeah. In me and him have had to have conversations on the side, like, dude, like, this is why I see it this way, and he'll tell me like why I see it, why he sees it in a certain way, and you have to have be able to have that open communication and find a common ground. The few times that me and Evan have like clashed in our parenting is because a veces Jocelyn, she's pushing, testing her boundaries. She's a preteen, or she was a preteen. She's a teen now. So a veces, like, without meaning to, she would kind of like talk back, and not like así muy malcriada, but I was trying to nip that in the butt because there has to be like that respect, right? And I always, whenever cuando ella le contestaba a su papá, I was always like, do not talk to your dad like that, right? And then, but when Jocelyn would say something to me, I felt like Ivan never stood up for me, or I never saw it. Maybe he had conversations with her behind closed doors. But one time it did, cause a lot of friction. And we had to have that conversation. And I had to tell him, like, bro, like, I always stand up for you, and I feel like you never stand up for me. So going back to you, Vani, you have to be willing and open to having that adult conversation and coming to a common ground. And so if you feel like you need help, you should like be able to have that open communication of like, hey, the kids are getting to the age where, they're trying to rebel, and I need your help. I need you to help me with them because I feel overwhelmed.
I would say learn from Susie and not from me. Don't let it get to the point where I ended up, where it was like the conversation that we had was, I feel like I can't get involved in the parenting because you've always done it. And then when I try to get involved, you don't have my back. And the reason why it got to that point is because I was always the one doing it. And then it got to a point where I was like, well, I'm going to have to take care of and figure this out, whether you want to be a part of it or not, right? And then once they did want to be involved, now I'm like, hey, don't yell. Don't yell at them like that. Hey, don't tell them that. There was a lot more friction because we didn't work that shit out like she did. So have those conversations, and I still stand by your relationship with your kids is your relationship with your kids.
100%.
And you can't force someone to be there or to do things a certain way. But you need to be able to vocalize that you need the support, because raising kids is not easy.
It's not for the weak,
it's
man.
really hard.
It's not easy.
Especially when you don't have your partners.
When you don't feel like you have full support. Yeah. So learn from her, because I can honestly say I could have done a better job in trying to fix those like friction parts. And then it got to a point where it got really hard to fix. And then it's like, you talk about breaking that generational trauma, right? Our parents were the same way. Like, we had two parents, but one was the one doing the heavy lifting, let's be honest, because the other one was in a similar mindset. Like, I work all day and I'm not here. You're home with the kids. You get to see it. Like, you do it. And then when they did want to step up, it was like, whoa. Late. You're never here. So now you don't get to yell at them now that you haven't been around, and now you feel like yelling. No.
Well, I think it's getting to that point because cuando yo los estoy regañando, or like or cuando Mena or Junior need something, they don't even go to him. They come to me directly, because they're growing up and they're saying like que nunca me ayuda, or like si ellos van y le preguntan algo, he's like, I don't know, ask your mom. I don't know, tell your mom. And that really annoys me because I'm doing all the work myself. Or cuando él me dice que yo haga como hacer algo with them, like, I get mad. And I'm like, si tú no los estás educando, no opines. O si no los estás criando, no opines.
That's what I mean. Like, that's the friction that you need to figure out how to stop now.
I think I'm already at that point.
But you gotta be... Also, like, you gotta be willing to let, as bad as it sounds, like, every once in a while, like, step in and help you be a parent. Like, if he lo regaña, you have to be willing to open that door.
Or, like, right. Pero cuando los niños, again, are being kids, lo regaña because they're being kids. Yo sí me enojo, and I'm like, don't yell at them because they're being kids. I don't know, am I already in that part that he annoys me when he tries to, like, tell him things?
Well, no, but that's definitely a conversation that you need to have, como dice Karina, like away from the kids, and maybe find like a common ground of like where you guys stand.
But if I remember, I think we already had a conversation about it, and that's when he told me, well, you're at home all day long. You should be the one doing it. Oh, because I work so much, you should be the mom. You should be educándolos. That's why I work so much, for you to stay home and for you to be raising them.
Yeah, babe, but fixing problems isn't just going to come from one conversation. You're going to have a lot of conversations. You're going to have that open communication all the time. Like, that communication needs to be there all the time. Like, you should be able to pull them aside and be like, hey, we've talked about this before. It's still a problem, and this is what I need help with. You can't be scared or think because we already had the conversation once, that's it. No, you have to be willing and put the work of like keep at it. Like, you need to keep having those conversations because maybe eventually it'll stick. You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, I've talked about it once and this was his outcome, because maybe if you talk to him about it again and you're like, hey, we've talked about this before, like, and I really need it, you know, maybe he'll understand. But it's work both ways. Like, you have to be willing to keep opening that door and being like annoying, basically, like, I need help
with the conversation.
Yeah.
Not where you're just kind of getting upset and then yelling at each other or yelling about it or having the argument in front of the kids about, like, again, don't learn from me, learn from Susie, because I do give her a lot of credit for that. Like, she's very good about the communication piece and making sure that they're on the right page or on the same page, where for me, too often, I was willing to just give up that we weren't on the same page, and I was just going to do it my way and figure it out from there, because I gave up too easily on having and revisiting the conversation over and over again, to where I was like, oh, I guess I'll just have to figure it out without you, bruh.
See you later.
I think it's just hard because there's a big...
So like I said, time out for 10 minutes, Brat.
Yeah. And coming to an end, that's our timeout for this week's episode. Ivan's like, bitches, I keep telling you over and over. So that is all the time that we have. Make sure that you guys are tuning in every Monday for all new episodes. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube and share us with a friend. That can be their late Valentine's Day gift.
Hey.
Okay. See ya.
Love and peace. Bye.
Bye.